Well, hey, everybody, this is Kim Stevens, your community leader for the Women of the Channel Leadership Network, and welcome to another WOW session. Joining me today is Tina Valdez, who is the COO of Morpheus Data. Tina, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's a lovely day here in Texas.
I was going to say, where are you exactly?
So I'm in Texas, a little east of Dallas. I grew up in Central Texas and in Houston. I've spent my last probably 22 years in Colorado and just moved back home last year. So this is our ranch. You're looking over one of our pastures, and I'm hopeful that soon one of our bison will step up behind us and entertain us a little bit.
All right. So you guys, before we got on this call, Tina was sharing with me that this is a new endeavor, is having bison. So maybe share how this came to be.
I've always wanted to get back on land, and doing the job in tech that we're all doing. You tend to be more in suburbia and larger cities, so I always wanted to get on land. And my husband had this dream of bison, and it's just such a noble and majestic animal. It is our national mammal. So this is part of this is preservation of that species. We're going for trying to grow the population back to 1 million bison, but there's a lot of commercial and market reason for bison as well.
Obviously, so COO at Morpheus Data. Just maybe give us some highlights of how you got to where you are right now.
My path to COO was very circuitous and also maybe serendipitous. I've done probably in many industries and many different roles. I've been in manufacturing and telecom, in business process outsourcing, and worked in quality roles, general management, product management, development, IT management. In that general management role, you touch legal, you touch finance, sales. Done a little bit of every role in many different industries, and some of those roles that I had actually let me touch even more industries like healthcare and retail. So it all just in a very, again, serendipitous way led me to a role where I can see through all of the different groups and the different interests, and how do you build up a full company to make it operationally successful. So it's been a lot of different changes and leaps of faith into new areas as I've stepped into roles that I hadn't done before and just learned them.
I know you're in a leadership position now. Was that always a goal, to be in a leadership position?
I don't think I ever stepped back and said, hey, I want to be a leader when I grow up. I remember wanting to be a vet. I remember at one time wanting to be an ambassador because I loved languages. But I don't remember ever wanting to be a leader. I think what drew me to it, and I ended up in 5th grade, I was class president, and then I think I was president of whatever, like 6 different times in different organizations throughout school. But what drew me to it was the work. I think I would look at it and say, okay, that work needs to be done. I may as well go do that work. The work, we've got to go do work. Let's go do the work. And that's what leaders end up doing, is it's really a service to the rest of the organization. And I love the work. I love hard work. I love looking at something that seems impossible and trying to make it great. And I've just got no fear of diving into the hard work. It gets me excited. Like when I have to work a day on the ranch and it's hot. Today's actually a pretty cool day. You can't see the sweat that's starting to form, but I get up in the morning and then looking outside and say, wow, it's going to be a hard day's work today. The things that we've got to get done, or looking at the week, we just finished a fantastic quarter. It's a hard week to get done. I get excited about that hard work. And I love to see other people be fulfilled, and to find that fulfillment from learning the new things that they have to learn to get the work done. And, from being able to look back and saying, wow, I made this thing great. So that's what I see. It's the hard work and watching people also recognize that, that fulfillment from getting it done.
You've always just been, okay, where's the work? And you've never been afraid to just jump right in with both feet. I always like to ask this, because this is not just for women, but just humanity in general. I think there's oftentimes a tendency to maybe question what you're doing, or maybe wonder, do I have what it takes to get this done? Have you ever struggled with that?
Yeah, I wondered what it would take to get out of bed this morning. So absolutely. With everything I do, I've had in every job that I've gone to, and in every day, I wake up, there's something new. We're in Morpheus, we're kind of a young company still. We're 5 years old. And so as we're on that growth path, there's something new that crosses every day. So Absolutely. There's always something that I'm unsure of. I approach it with two different tools. I guess is probably the word for it. One of those tools is trust your leaders. When you step into a role, and you may not know that role. Say you're someone who is coming out of sales, and for the first time you are going into that marketing position. You know, you've decided to go to the dark side, maybe they would call it, if you're going from sales into marketing. You decide to go into marketing. You don't know everything about marketing, but you're leading a team all of a sudden of people who've been doing it for years. The best thing you can do is rely on those leaders to do their jobs, and your job then becomes asking the right questions to keep them focused on the bigger objective, and to also let them teach you while they are taking you through and they're getting the job done. The second one is around learning. I love learning. You know, and maybe that's the, you know, jump into something new. You have to always be open and ready to learn and hungry for that learning. I remember when I was in way early in my career, I was in telco. I was probably 25 years old. And I found myself sitting in meetings. Yeah, I come from an engineering background, you know, the real kind where you had to do math and work with tolerances and that type of thing, measure stuff. I know most of us are from an IT background where it's a different kind of engineering.
Yeah.
But that was my background. And the finance side, I wasn't strong on that, but I found myself sitting in meetings where we were talking about the finances of the organization and where we were investing in those types of things. And I would have to go home and look up a term. And that's when I said, time out, I'm going to get my MBA. I'm not going to learn this the slow, hard way. So it's, you know, just learning and knowing that at some point you got to pick up a book and now start studying and learn something new too. So I would say those two things: trust your leaders and get in there and learn.
Have you ever had to deal with any sort of, I don't know, biases or stereotypes or anything where you just had to deal with that? And how did you deal with that? Because I think
Right.
I'm always looking for ways to do things better. So
Right.
I'm just curious if you've ever experienced that, and then how did you handle it?
Right.
Yeah.
I wish I had fantastic wisdom on this one. And this is one that I struggle with. And, you know, why I like groups like this where we can talk through how you might approach some of these different situations. But I've definitely been plagued by can you say bitch? Can you say bitch on the CRN? Can we say that? Is that a bad word? Oh yeah, good. But you know, the bitch title. And I think I think I'm one of the nicest people around. I think I don't take life too seriously. You know, I'm very passionate about the company I work for and getting the mission done, but at the same time, don't take myself too seriously. And I want the team to have a lot of fun as we're going. To me, there's humor in every situation. But I'm very direct, and I see directness as kindness. You know, you don't want to shine someone on. You don't want to say things to make people feel good or to make the company feel good. You want to be very direct about where the company stands or whatever the situation is that you're in. You want to have the facts and data and be direct and try to solve the problem, because people are making decisions based on what you say. And if you're not being fully truthful, truth is very important. So being direct and being truthful, I think, is kindness. But sometimes that comes off as, you know, it can be, you know, hey, she's the bitchy one, or she's the one that's, you know, she's always kind of, you know, challenging or pushing, or she's telling me things I don't like. Maybe that feedback or honest feedback is actually a gift. And you're really giving that person a gift when you're being honest, and your heart is really about making them better or making the situation better.
What is something that you know now? Dang it, don't you wish you knew that early on?
Yeah, I'm a very you know, take one for the team. Yeah, you know, it's very maybe overly accountable. Hey, it was my fault. You know, blame me. I'll take it.
Mhm.
But in a lot of those cases, especially when I was younger in career, it really wasn't my fault. It was my peers' fault. You know, it was something that we had to work on, or that maybe they were more accountable for. And I would always dive in and jump on the ball. And I think we probably would have learned faster as an organization if I didn't do that. You know, if we go ahead and we let the failure happen. And so
Okay.
we could have corrected it at the source. And I wouldn't have been so frustrated in my career. You know, I see some of the folks that I mentor today that are frustrated by something similar. And my advice to them is go have a direct but kind conversation with the person, or with, you know, the organization, whatever it is. Go have a direct but kind conversation about what's not working, and get it fixed, or focus on your accountabilities. And, you're at some point, you've got to let that fail so you can come back and actually fix it and fix it right. So I wish I would have done that more as a youth.
Tina, thank you so much for allowing me to meet with you. And I'm really excited for our members to get to know you more. And I really appreciate the things that you have shared with them. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. It has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you. I love what you're doing here.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, you guys, when you see this, would you give Tina a solid, just give her a like or give her a shout out, let her know that you appreciate what she has shared. And we will see you on the next WOW session. You guys take care.